Spuhr's new hunting line of mounts has been out for a few months now, and I just want to take a minute and explain some of the relevant features that are associated with this line. It's a Spuhr product, so it's got all of the tight tolerances and the machining standards that we're familiar with. It's just in a compact and a little bit more simplified mount. So what that does is it takes the weight and knocks about 25% of the weight out of the mount. And which, you know, when you're hauling a hunting rifle up and down the mountainside, it's kind of a nice feature. And then it reduces the price, which we all appreciate, from you know, $410, $430 down to $220, $235 for this one-piece mount. There's three different styles of mounts, right? There's the one-piece. There's the split ring. This is for Blaser and Sako rifles. And then there's a cantilevered mount, because, you know, more and more folks are hunting with AR-15s. So, you know, a little bit lighter, a lot less expensive, but still have all of the key features that I really appreciate on a Spuhr mount. They're split on the 45-degree angle, which is a big deal, right? It means you can clearly see your elevation turret, your windage turret, and your parallax turret when you're lying behind the rifle. A lot of times rings are split on the sides. It puts a lot of mass and it kind of obscures these two turrets. So that's not an issue. Inside the rings, you'll notice that there are grooves machined for use with powdered resin. Now this is pretty unique to Spuhr. They're the first that I know that did this. You just take a little bit of powdered resin, you smear it on there, and then when you mount your scope, what that does is it takes the coefficient of friction between your rings and your scope and runs it through the roof without putting any mechanical stress on the tube. You know, when you got a rifle, it's maybe bouncing around inside a vehicle or on a side-by-side or something, and it's vibrating a lot. You just want to make sure that that scope doesn't move in the rings, and that's a nice little touch that they put on there. They've got an option. The front ring is drilled and tapped for, you can mount a little section of Pic Rail up there, drop a little mini red dot on there. On a hunting rifle, I think that's particularly advantageous because, you know, you're running a 5-25 or a first focal plane reticle and a critter jumps out at 20 yards. There's no time to dial down on magnification, so you got what you got. And if you got a little red dot sight up top, throw the rifle to your shoulder and touch one off and not have any issue. There's also the slot in the Uni mount to use with a leveling bar. So when it comes time, you're like, man, I don't want to send my stuff out to the gunsmith just to put the scope on the rifle. You put the mount on the scope base, drop the scope in the mount, and then take that leveling bar, stick it in the slot from the side. And what that does is it levels the scope off the bottom of the turret housing to the rifle. And of course, the reticle is mounted leveled off that same flat of the turret housing. So what that does when you're done is your reticle's leveled to your rifle, and so it's one less thing to have to worry about. The sight heights available, these run anywhere from 1 inch up to 1.5 inches. Anyway, that's the new hunting line of mounts. These are available from Mile High Shooting Accessories. I'd like to thank them for sponsoring this video. And if you'd like to know any more about the Spuhr hunting line, you can go to www.milehighshooting.com.